Welcome back for another video, and today we're taking the final attack out for the first time on the water. So unloading it from the truck and loading it on the truck with the motor on, it wasn't too hard. These wheels on the back of this thing are pretty nice. I was kind of like, those are weird. I don't know if I'd use those, but they're pretty handy. So it makes loading and unloading it really simple. So we're gonna just take this out for a little test drive. It's a little windy, but not too bad. Not a lot of chop out on the water. Got my life jacket, some paddles, we're gassed up. We checked the motor earlier today, made sure that worked. Both got registered, just took care of that. So we're legal, we're able to get this thing out, and I'm very excited about this. So let me know what you guys think. That PPF, we're gonna see how it does. 6.5 horsepower. I'm curious, man. I've got a feeling this little 8-foot boat's gonna scoot, but we'll just have to get it out there and see how she does. I'm excited. Let's go. All right, gotta put the life jacket on. That's gonna be very important. I'm sure this will be a lot easier with waders on. Getting this boat out in enough water to where it'll float. Kind of curious about how I can figure out a good way to finagle this blind where it doesn't drag in the water. So here's an issue I'm finding with this is it's not wanting to do well with this cover. Like, it's really not wanting to do well. The cover's dragging in the water, and so that's causing it to get a lot of drag. I don't think it's possible fix that at this moment. This little boat's pretty stable. Holy smokes. I'm gonna have to figure something out with this cover, because it is definitely causing some issues. I don't think I've got anything with me that can help me at this point. See how that does. I brought a little board with me to see if I can maybe sit on that while I'm driving. Seems like a good height to sit at. So we'll flip her over to start. Oh. Whoa. Talk about some horsepower, boys. I gotta figure out a way to fix this seat. I gotta figure out a keeper system for this, because you can see that thing is just sitting in there, floating in the water, creating a bunch of drag. I'm gonna pull off here and try and fix that. here's our problem. This blind is designed to fit around in the bottom by the wheels, and I don't think that's helping me at all. So if we can get this thing up, maybe under like that. We're definitely scuffing the crap out of this thing here, but I think we'll just wear a hole over time. No biggie there. All right. This is why I like to take a test run. It really gives me an idea of kinks that need to get worked out, you know? Okay, so our motor's attached now. I don't think that's gonna flop at all. Gotta get this thing figured out. Oh, that might work. So if I just leave that back there, we're not creating a bunch of drag. I wonder how much drag this is causing. I bet you I could just roll this up and make like a bungee, kind of like my kayak blind had. I don't know. We'll just leave this one here and see how it goes. Seems to be running good though. Smells a little funny, but I bet you that's just because it's a brand new motor. This is not good. This is causing a lot of problems. So I'm feeling this and it's happening and it's not good. Is what's happening is this thing's dragging in the water behind me and it's pulling the back end of the boat down and it's really bogging me out. So I think if I'm going to use this thing as a layout boat, I'm going to have to roll the blind up and deploy it when I get to my spot. Like that's the most, like, that's the best option I can figure out, because this thing is just grabbing so much water because it's built to go around the back. So that's causing some major issues when you try and get going. Like I can't even imagine paddling this thing with a kayak paddle. But it seems to get up on plane pretty well, which is nice. But this thing is not doing well with the cover. So we're definitely gonna have to play around with that and figure something out. Other than that, it's doing great. Like it's incredibly stable, especially when you have a motor to hang on to. I don't know if I would stand and motor this thing, especially out on a lake like this. But I've really got to figure out the best place to sit, because if I sit too forward, I start taking water over the front, and if I sit too far back, it's hard to steer. So we got to figure that out as well. But it's kind of fun just trolling around out here trying to figure this thing out, see what we need to work on with this. It's definitely a work in progress, but I think it'll be good. Yeah! front spitting water on me. That won't feel good in December. Once you get that cover off, it does great. We're up on plane. It was idling fine, and then I go and hit the throttle and it dies. I think we got to break in this engine, but I am so pleased with this thing. Like, it's incredibly stable. I'm not brave enough to really stand and motor around on this thing yet, but I think we're doing pretty good. The cover needs some work. It's got a few issues we got to work out. If I gotta just roll it up and deploy it when I get out in the field, then that's what I have to do. But we can use this boat to just get to spots and set up, and not use it as a layout boat, just use it as a little skiff kind of thing, or we can layout hunt in it. I'm having so much fun out here just whizzing around on this thing. It's fun. I think the motor's doing good. It's starting up easier and easier every time. Kind of the smell it was making is kind of going away now, so it's just a matter of time to really get this thing in tip-top shape. So I want to get it running really well before it gets cold, so that was cool. I also found some teal, so that was cool. I might come out tomorrow morning, take the little boat, hunt out here, shoot a couple teal. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know how many people know that teal are back here, honestly. But we're getting 6, 7, 8 miles an hour on this thing. It's planing out really well, and all in all, I'm really happy with it. It's a little cramped with steering and stuff, but that's something we can fix as well. But I'm happy. This is doing great. Oh my gosh, we barely used any fuel. That's crazy. We're trying this, standing up and going at the same time. I wouldn't want to go fast doing this. I don't have anything to hold on to. There's those teal again. Skateboard. That was the most fun I've had, just like being on the water, in a very long time. This thing's a blast, man. Other than the blind and the little hole in the front that we got to plug up with something, I'm very happy with how this thing is. I'm gonna need to figure out a seat for it to where it won't slide around and fall in. I fell in the boat a couple of times. I need to figure out the perfect point for that seat to be, to where I'm able to get up on plane a little better. Because if I'm sitting too forward, then the boat's kind of going nose down and water comes over the top. So we got to figure that out. I've got a feeling I'll either need to keep a sponge in the boat or install a bilge pump or something. I feel like the sponge might be a better option, just because it's not going to take on that much water. The sponge will get all the water out that I need to. And I think other than that, it's the blind. I was very excited about the blind, but after putting the blind on and scooting around, I'm not very excited about it anymore. So we've got to figure that out. The front side and the doors, they're easy. I can fix those, they're gonna be fine. It's just when it comes around the back, it's built to, the blind is built to go down and around and under the wheel on the bottom, which, yeah, that works great if you're just setting up the blind where you're gonna be hunting. But once you put a motor on and you start motoring, what happens is, with the blind coming down here, it's catching all the water coming through, and it's acting like a big parachute behind me. And it was pulling the back end of the boat down into the water, and it was slowing me down, which, you know, I'm no speed demon out here. I'm gonna just try and get to my spot as safe as possible. Having a little bit of speed doesn't hurt. It's kind of fun, but it just gets in the way back there. It doesn't work. So I've got to figure out a different way to set that up. So I think I've got a few ideas rolling around in my mind. And then I've also got to figure out how we're going to tow the sled behind us and fit gear inside the cockpit of this thing. This was a fun little test run just to see how it went, see how the boat does on the water and how the motor does. And I'm trying to work out all of these kinks that I'm going to come into before we're hunting with it. And it's just kind of one of those things. I'd hate to just be like, okay, we got the boat and the motor, let's go hunt tomorrow, and not do these kind of things and be 4 o'clock in the morning and you're like, well, crap, this is not working well. So trying to work out those kinks while we go. But overall, I'm very, 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 very happy with this, and we're gonna get on some really cool hunts with this thing. But you guys might be wondering, the kayaks, what are we gonna do with the kayaks? I'm still gonna use the kayaks. And so there's places out here in Kansas where you can use a motor, like our reservoirs and some of the marshes, but there's a lot of places where they don't allow motorboats for duck hunting, like in like marshes and stuff. So this is going to be a great option for when I need to use it. Let's say I go and hunt this reservoir here, which I did a couple of times last year, and I motored out to where I hunted, and I tell you what, guys, I cannot believe that I paddled that far. That was a heck of a paddle to go through just to go on a duck hunt. Had some good hunts, but it's a long ways to go. So we're gonna get some use out of this thing. We're also gonna get some use out of the kayaks. It's just kind of pick and choosing, but I think I'm gonna try and use the motor a lot more this year than the kayaks, just because that's kind of fun and I'm lazy. It's easy, but you never know. There could be some good hunts in places where I don't get to use this thing. So I think we've got to play around with this when we get home and figure out how we're gonna organize everything. I'm not gonna do that on camera. I'll give you guys another video later on once I get all of my stuff figured out with this thing and get it ready to hunt. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys liked it, be sure to leave me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will catch you guys on the next video. I do like that.